Good day everyone. We are the group 2 and we're going to report about the game Futsal. First, we're going to tackle the history of the game. Second, the terms used in Futsal. And third, laws of the game. Fourth, the court layout. And fifth, the values behind the Futsal. And last, we're going to perform an actual demonstration on basic skills of Futsal. The history of Futsal. The origin of futsal, frequently referred to as a five-a-side or mini soccer, can be traced back to Montevideo, Uruguay in 1930, when Juan Carlos Soriani devised a five-a-side version of soccer for youth competition in YMCAs. The game is played on basketball-sized courts, both indoors and outdoors without the use of sidewalls. The skill developed in this game is visible in the world-famous style. The Brazilians display outdoors on the full-side field.
While Brazil continues to be the futsal hub of the world, the game is now played under the auspices of FIFA. FIFA, or known as the Federation Internationale de Football Association. It is played all over the world from Europe to North and Central America, and the Caribbean, South America, Africa, and Asia and Oceania. The World Championship Tournament, or known as the FIFA Futsal World Cup, that is held every 4 years on the even year between two football World Cups. It is the first. Its first event was held in 1989. Next, the term futsal is an international term used for the game, and it was created by Alexander Pera. It is derived from the Spanish or Portuguese word for soccer, which is football or football, and the French or Spanish word for indoor, which is salon or sala.
Okay, good day everyone. So now, let's discuss some terminologies that being used in futsal sports. So I'm gonna discuss few of it. Now first, I'm going to discuss what is attacking system. Okay, what is attacking system? Attacking system, it is a rules and principles of how a team attack. So in short, when we say attacking system, it is a term in order to define the certain team's action, a certain team strategy, formation, or techniques in order to get a goal. That's all. That's all about attacking system. Now, okay, let's move on. We have backdoor cut. What is backdoor cut? Backdoor cut, it is a finting movement behind a defender who is trying to anticipate in order to open a passing line. So, this term backdoor cut is being used not only in futsal sports but also in basketball. Okay, in basketball, backdoor cut refer to an action in which the player doing some movement, doing some action in order to confuse its opponent. Like for example, he do a certain action considered as a bait to its opponent in order for him to find a way to get through. Okay, so what's the difference between backdoor cut in basketball and in futsal? Well, there's no difference. It's still the same. Okay, still the same. Backdoor cuts refer to a an action in which it can anticipate or it can confuse your opponent for you to get through. Okay? Now, we have between the lines. What is between the lines? Well, between the lines, it is an attacking action where the attacker occupies the space between the opponent defensive line. So, what does it mean? It it's just that the attacker really want to play in aggressive way, so he just get too close to its defender, and then trying to confuse them in order to get through. So that's all. Maybe this between the line really execute if a certain player is very good at dribbling, maybe. Okay, let's move on. We have ball time. What is ball time? It is a movement by a defender to close the carrier during a trajectory of a pass rather than once the attacker is in the possession. Okay, now in a simple word, ball time, it is a definition that describe the defender's action or describe the action that being executed by a defender. Why? Because um during ball time the defender um really want to steal the ball. So when he saw that the attacker want to pass the ball to his teammates, he really grabbed the opportunity to steal the ball or want to steal the ball. So what he did before the ball get reached to its the attacker's opponent, so he just get close to it and want to steal it before it happens. So that's all about ball time. Okay, now we have okay we have block. Now what is block? Block is an attacking action where a player stands in a trajectory of a defender to invade them from following their direction. Okay, so block can happen so many times. It is a technique that being performed by some players in order to impede their opponents from following their teammates into certain direction. Okay, so it's just that if the defender wants to block its opponent, so he just doing some action that make their opponent stop or make their opponent suddenly change the direction in order to slowing them down. Okay, so that is block. All right, okay, you understand it, you get it. Okay, I know you do. Okay, good, thank you.
These are the terms used in futsal. Close defense, a defense formed of a compact block that engages the attack deep in their defensive half, usually 10 to 12 meters from their own goal. Counter-attack, attacking action after change of possession, transition to arrive at the opponent's goal with speed before the four defenders are in position to defend, example, behind the line of the ball. Generally, a one-third of all goals are scored from these situations, and it is the most efficient way to score of all the three types of attack. Defensive height. This is the position on the court where the defense engages the attack. Example, 3/4 court, halfway line, 12 meter. This is a separate concept from defensive pressure, as you can have a high defensive height without putting pressure on the ball and vice versa. Defensive line. This is an imaginary horizontal line that goes across the court at the height of each defender. It is possible to have two or more defenders in the same line. So if you are defending 1-1, 2-1, including the goalkeeper, you have four defensive lines and your pivot is in the first defensive line. The more defensive lines you have, the more defensive cover you have. Delaying. When a player acts to slow down the attack or defense to allow their teammates to recover and take their correct positions.
These are the another set of terminologies used in futsal. First is the direct opponent. Direct opponent refers to the defender's nearest opponent and player they are marking. Next is defense with exchanges. It is a positional defense that uses pressing and is individual but utilizes marking exchanges of opponents. Next is exit the press. It is a pre-established rotation by the attacking team from a goal kick to escape the pressing of the opponent's defense.
Another is the fast attack. It is the last phase of attacking transition when you try to attack the opponent's goal with the speed when all the opposition defenders are behind the ball but they are not defensively organized. Is feint. It is when an attacker without the ball uses a sudden speed or change of speed or direction to lose their marker and gain space. It is very important, especially that there is a frequency of one versus one situations and due to lack of space also.
Fly goalkeeper. When the goalkeeper comes into the opponent's half to take part in a positional attack and create numerical superiority, often used at the end of the game by the losing team to try to make a comeback. Next is positional attack. Attacking when all the opponent's defenders are behind the ball and organized defensively. Generally, a one-third of all goals are scored from these situations. Positional superiority or inferiority. Due to the position of the players, there is an advantage or disadvantage whether in attack or defense. Next, recovery. It is the action of players running back to be in position to defend their goal when their team loses possession. Next, rotations. When the attacking team interchanges position and makes movements into space while maintaining positional balance. They are used during a positional attack with the objective to create space through disorganizing the opponent's defense while maintaining defensive balance in case possession is lost. These coordinated movements can be predetermined or improvised. Russian change. When the four players are substituted for four others at all the same time, made famous by teams from Russia.
These are the other terminologies used in futsal. We have the words passing line, parallel, pivot, pressure, and pressing. So starting from the word passing line, it is the lane between the ball carrier and the teammate. If there is no defender cutting this, then it is an open passing line. Otherwise, it is a closed passing line. Second word is parallel. It is a vertical or forward straight pass on the wing that is usually of medium height to prevent interception. And for the third word, we have pivot. It refers to the player who plays furthest forward, often physically strong and good at playing with their back to their opponent's goal. For the next word, we have pressure. It refers to the individual defensive action which relates to the distance between the defender and the ball carrier. For the last word for this set, we have the word pressing. It refers to the collective action of a defense with the aim to put pressure on the ball carrier, their teammates, and the passing line.
A goal is scored when the whole of the ball passes through the goal line or under the crossbar, provided that no infringement of the laws of the game has been committed previously by the team scoring the goal.
In sports, a foul is an inappropriate or unfair act by a player as deemed by a referee, usually violating the rules of the sport or game. Fouls in futsal are penalized with a direct free kick, penalty kick, or indirect free kick.
Disciplinary sanctions. The yellow card is used to communicate that a player or substitute has been cautioned. The red card is used to communicate that a player or substitute has been sent off. The referees have the authority to take disciplinary sanctions from the moment they enter the premises where the pitch is located before the start of the match until they leave them.
Fouls penalized with a direct free kick. What is a direct free kick? A direct free kick is awarded to the opposing team if a player commits any of the following 7 offenses in a manner considered by the referees to be careless, reckless, or using excessive force. First, kicks or attempts to kick an opponent. Trips an opponent, jumps at an opponent, charges an opponent, strikes or attempts to strike an opponent, pushes an opponent, tackles an opponent. A direct free kick is also awarded to the opposing team if a player commits any of the following 3 offenses. Holds an opponent, speeds an opponent, handles the ball deliberately. A direct free kick is taken from the place where the offense occurred.
Fouls penalized with a penalty kick. A penalty kick is awarded if any of the above 10 offenses is committed by a player inside his own penalty area, irrespective of the position of the ball, provided it is in a play.
Fouls penalized with an indirect free kick. An indirect free kick is awarded to the opposing team if a goalkeeper commits any of the following 4 offenses. Controls the ball with his hands or feet in his own half of the pitch for more than 4 seconds. After playing the ball, he touches it again in his own half of the pitch after it has been deliberately kicked to him by a teammate without an opponent playing or touching it. Touches the ball with his hands inside his own penalty area after it has been deliberately kicked to him by a teammate. Touches the ball with his hands inside his own penalty area after he has received it directly from a kick in by a teammate. An indirect free kick is also awarded to the opposing team if, in the opinion of the referees, a player plays in a dangerous manner in the presence of an opponent, impedes the progress of an opponent, prevents the goalkeeper from releasing the ball from his hands, commits against a teammate one of the 9 offenses penalized with a direct free kick if they are committed against an opponent, commits any other infringement not previously mentioned in Law 12 or in any other law for which play is stopped to caution or dismiss players. The indirect free kick is taken from the place where the offense occurred.
Penalties for serious and/or consistent foul play. Number 1. When a player accumulates 5 yellow cards, that player will have an automatic suspension of 1 match. Number 2. Further suspension by accumulated fouls may result in the player being expelled from the competition. This will be subjected by the referee's report and a review by the competition manager.
Number 5, a player can be dismissed for A. Serious foul play. Nag-commit ka og foul nga seryoso gud nang murag gituyo nimo nga i-foul imong kalaban, mga baldahon gyud nimo siya ba. Letter B, violent conduct, nan haras kay ka sa imong kuan. Letter C, spits an opponent or any other person. Ayaw pug duplai ang imuhang kalaban or kinsa kay dili gyud siya kuan. Unsportsmanlike kay siya. Letter D, uses offensive, insulting, or abusive language. Letter E, denying the opposing team a goal or an obvious goal scoring opportunity by deliberately handling the ball.
Hi and good day everyone. So this time we will know about court layout and markings. So futsal is normally played on a rectangular shaped 5-by-side pitch. The 5-by-side football regulation states that the field measurements can be minimum of 25 meter long by 15 meter wide or 82 by 49 feet and the maximum of 42 meter long by 25 meter wide or 138 by 82 feet. Futsal should be played on a wooden or synthetic surface. So let's go to markings. The pitch shall be marked with lines. These lines belong to the areas of which they are boundaries. The 2 longer boundary lines are called touch lines, while the two shorter lines are called the goal lines. So let's talk about penalty mark. So the penalty area shall be marked out at each end of the pitch. Quarter circles shall be drawn from the goal line to meet two imaginary lines which has a 6 meter in length, drawn at the right angles to the goal line from the outside of the goal post. The upper part of each quarter circle shall be joined by a 30.16 meter or 10.3 feet line running from parallel to the goal line between the goal posts. The curved line marking the outer limit of the penalty area is known as the penalty area line. So there are two penalty mark types. So the first type is called the penalty mark. A mark shall be drawn 6 meter or 19.6 feet from the midpoint between the goal posts and equidistant from them. So the second penalty mark. The second penalty mark shall be drawn at a pitch of 10 meter or 32.8 feet from the midpoint between the goal posts and equidistant from them. So let's talk another marking. The another marking is called the substitution zone. These are the areas on the touch line in front of the team benches that the players shall use to enter and leave the pitch. So another one will be the goals. This shall be placed in the middle of each goal line. They shall consist of two upright posts, equidistant from each corner, and joined at the top by horizontal crossbar. The distance or inside the measurement between the posts shall be 3 meter or 9.8 feet, and the distance from the lower edge of the crossbar to the ground shall be 2 meter or 6.5 feet.
I'm going to start with a question. How many players are on a futsal team? A futsal match is played by two teams, each consisting of not more than 5 players and 9 substitutes. In that 5 players, one player is a goalkeeper and the rest are outfield players. Bale, there are 4 outfield players. As you can read in our PPT, the role of the goalkeeper is primarily as a shot saver. So it is a very important position with a goalkeeper playing a vital role in determining the final score. So let's move on to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is the most specialized position in futsal, or as in many other sports playing for a goal. A goalkeeper's job is mainly defensive. It is to guard the team's goal from being breached or to not let the other team score. This position requires a combination of athleticism, bravado, quick reactions, and decision-making abilities. Futsal goalkeepers are protectors of the net with the ability to use their hands within the penalty arc, but also get involved in the fast-paced field play. They are the only players that are allowed to touch the ball with their hands and arms. However, they are restricted to doing so only within their penalty area or that penalty arc that I said earlier. For this reason, they must wear jerseys that distinguish them from other outfield players and the referee.
Overall, the main goal of these positions are to train each player with their advantages and to have a better communication within the team. With this, it is most likely to have a better gameplay. Like any other sports, every game has its different positions to have a better gameplay. In basketball, we have 5 positions. In volleyball, we have 6 positions. In futsal, we have 4 positions, which are the target, defender, winger, and the goalkeeper. As what have tackled earlier, this is the court layout. As you can see, the court, here is the goal area, the goalkeeper, target, the defender, and the wing, left and right. First, we're going to tackle the targets. Ideally, the targets are strong and physical with the ability to hold off defenders when is position of the ball. A skillful mobile player who can turn defenders and finish are also good attributes for the target. When we say mobile players, it means able to move or move freely or easily. The target is critical to the shape of the team's defense. Consequently, he or she needs to have a good understanding of the team's system. The target player is traditionally the most forward player on the court. They are most closely related to the center of the basketball court. This player is the center of the offensive attention and is comfortable with their back to the opponent's goal. The target player is not exempt from helping in the midfield or playing defense when his team loses the ball. Most coaches will encourage the pivot player to maintain a deep post-up position. What does post-up position means? Post-up position is a position where you let yourself into a scoring position that will allow you to use the height advantage to score or force a double team. In basketball, the most common and known post-up position player is LeBron James. Next, we are going to tackle the winger. As you can see again in our layout, here, the left and right winger were located at the flank of the court. These are the attackers and defenders and must be mobile, speedy, and good finishers. Must also be a good passer of the ball, also a cornerstone of the defensive shape when protecting the middle of the court. The wingers are positioned on the outside or flanks of the field adjacent to the touch lines. As what I have said earlier, these players continually move forward and back based on the movement of the ball and mostly closely resemble an outside midfielder in the full field soccer. Wingers play both defense position and offense depending on which team possesses the ball. Wingers were able to move about the court as they feel necessary to positively affect the play of the match. Most wingers start on designated sides, but those positions change throughout the match, depending on passing needs, rotation, and flow of the play. For our third position, the defender, or the last man. As the title insinuates, this position is a player responsible for preventing the opposition from scoring. They are denoted as the team's last man and are usually the last line of defense before the goalkeeper. Defenders are not limited to the defensive half, however, especially with the fast pace of futsal. Depending on the philosophy of the coach, many defenders advance the ball into the attacking half and take many shots on goal. This is when communication is crucial, as a winger or the target will need to retreat and cover the defensive opposition during the break.
Hello po, so I will be discussing the values behind the sport of futsal. We found a little information about the values of a sport in general, but we also found that the values of a sport depends on the organization or association that it belongs to. And in our case, we will be presenting to you the values that FIFA is imposing to its athletes and as well as their staff. But the question is, why are values important in sport? Values actually play a vital role in all aspects of an athlete's personal and athletic development. Values will influence how an athlete thinks about their particular sports involvement. For example, if you convey the importance of effort and fun over winning, they will focus to those values as they approach competitions. In contrast to that, if an athlete believes that you hold values such as winning and being the best above all else, they will think about upcoming competitions in a very different way. So here are the list of values that FIFA think will serve their futsal athletes well as they immerse themselves in sports. First is fight against racism and all other forms of discrimination. Discrimination has no place in futsal or society at large. FIFA is committed by uprooting all forms of discrimination in sport by implementing additional anti-discrimination policies and programs as well as toolkits to support associations in addressing these issues. The second is promote fair play and mutual respect. Respect and fair play are imperatives on and on the pitch. In order to safeguard these crucial values, FIFA continues to fight match fixing and doping by implementing its integrity initiatives and reporting mechanisms, as well as setting up dedicated educational programs. The third one is protect human rights. FIFA is committed to respecting human rights and strives to promote their protection. FIFA will continue to embed this commitment in all its structures and activities, including the implementation of human rights plans for its tournaments and a growing engagement with confederations and member associations to address human rights risk in the game. The fourth and the last one is embed child safeguarding. Every child who plays or participates in the game has the right to do so in a safe and enjoyable environment, free from any risk of abusive behavior. In this spirit, FIFA expands and embeds both child and adult safeguarding by promoting awareness and best practice solutions through the FIFA Guardians program.
This is the demo for Basic Switch.
Basic switch position in futsal.